Hello and welcome to the 6 months to 6 figures series of the W Freelancing podcast. In this series, you'll follow a specific freelancer, in this case, Brad. Hello, Brad. Hello. I coach them from early stages to earning a 6-figure annual income. And broken down, $100,000 a year equals $83.33 a month. So my challenge with this series is to see how quickly I can get somebody earning that $8,333 a month, with the goal being to do it within 6 months. So in this series, I'll connect with Brad every week or two, and it'll follow the same format as the one-on-one live coaching sessions we do in the Accelerator community. But Brad's series is a little bit different because he, as you'll soon learn, runs essentially like a YouTube marketing agency or something. I don't know what the proper label will be at this point, but in Brad's case, he's coaching me on YouTube stuff because the DYF YouTube at the day of recording, July 5th, needs some work. So Brad's series is a little different because he's actually gonna be doing some coaching for me. So originally we weren't going to use these parts of him coaching me as part of this series. Maybe he'd use it on his own. But as it's turned out, him coaching me and me like feeding that back into him, it's all been kind of this initial process of helping him hone his service offering as we talk about my needs, because I'm essentially Brad's target customer. So these initial episodes, we will keep the YouTube coaching because I think you'll find it interesting if you're trying to hone your own service offering. But then maybe in a few episodes, once he's done that, maybe we won't keep it. So that's the weird thing, I guess, about this series. So if you're ever listening to this series and you're thinking to yourself, oh, I wish I could get coaching like that from Zach, know that you can. And if you want to, you can join the DYF Accelerator, and you can do that at dyf.link/DYFA, and you'll get coaching like this. So let's dive into today's interview. All right, Brad, you say that you want to set up Trojan Horse interviews and you have a billable hours question and branding positioning, many things. So of these various priorities, like if you were to distill everything into what you'd hope to leave the session with, what would it be?
I would like help thinking through this branding and positioning thing. So here's, I guess, the overview. I've mentioned some of it to you, but I need to think through it clearly and decide on the structure so that I can really hit the gas with this podcasting strategy, because I love it. And it's clicking into place, a lot of stuff that I've wanted to do for years. I just thought I'd have to be like more successful to be able to have time to do it. And now it's actually the opposite. It's like, wait a second, this is how I'm going to rapidly get there. And it's exciting to me personally because I know it plays to my strengths. It's something that I want to build into my future. So I'm really thinking, I'm like, okay, this podcasting thing, but there's 2 different versions that I'm trying to think through, both of them. One is the Trojan horse to try to get me new clients for my YouTube. Let's just call it YouTube agency, even though it'll just be me. Let's just say YouTube agency. So I do want to do that, and I want to get started immediately. And the other half of it is this personal brand thing, the Nomad Brad. I realized after 15 years of avoiding the idea of being a freelancer, I'm like, if I embrace freelancing, it overlaps with I've always wanted to help people, use technology and working online to gain freedom in their life. That's a value of mine that's very high. It's always what I've been working towards. I just was trying to do it without the freelancing piece. But now that I'm interacting with the freelancing community, I'm like, these are the people I want to hang out with. These are the people I want to network with, communicate with. And it helps in my ultimate goal of helping people live a more free life. So I have the personal brand, the Nomad Brad, which one problem with my brand over the years has been, it's called the Nomad Brad, but I don't talk about being a nomad. I just talk about affiliate marketing, which is a piece of the puzzle. It's a small piece, but now that I'm going to include freelancing, as part of the brand, it's immediately going to speak to digital nomads, which in my experience are mostly freelancers. And it's going to speak to the idea of freedom, which is my biggest personal value. Okay. So that's the overarching thing. But the problem tactically is I'm ready to, like I said, punch the gas on getting like booking podcast interviews with people. I'm ready to like figure out the logistics of it for me traveling. I'm ready to buy equipment, whatever. And I'm ready to just start doing outreach. But I'm having trouble thinking through like the buckets of where they should go. Like, cause like Trojan horse interviews for my YouTube agency, I don't really think that would live on like my Nomad Brad YouTube channel, you know? So I'm like, do I have to start like a separate brand, separate company? And not like filing an LLC and all that stuff. I'm not worried about that. But like, who am I reaching out to Trojan horse interview people as, and why? And also, okay, here's another dimension is like my YouTube channel, I have a vision for it in the future, you know, creating content. But then like Twitter, I actually think is the best place to network and actually meet people. And so, and I've actually booked, I posted that tweet I told you about where I just asked for recommendations for freelancing books. Two of the authors that had their books mentioned, I just asked them, "Hey, I'm looking to do a well." I use the language which I will stop using now, which is I'm about to start a series. So I'll make that adjustment. But I said I'm about to start a series interviewing freelancing experts. Would you be interested? And both authors said yes. So like, I'm already getting the like mechanism of podcasting going. But again, talking to freelancers doesn't help me get clients, which I also need to do right now, right? It's going to help me build the Nomad Brad brand into this like personal lifestyle freedom, whatever. But I also need to make money, you know? So I just don't know. Like, so for my Twitter, like, should I talk about YouTube marketing? I don't think I should talk about freelancing as an authority, obviously, but I can share my journey as I grow. And then like, yeah, it's just hard for me to think through, like, where does this stuff live? Like I have an idea of some groups of people that I'd like to reach out to for Trojan horse interviews, but then like, where do those podcasts go? Because I don't think my like Nomad Brad audience would care, you know, to have interviews with a bunch of like, again, my mind is like getting excited because I have all these different buckets, like WordPress business owners, like AI. I've been tracking a lot of like AI tools and making videos about them, but it would be cool. I was like, I could just reach out to all of these companies and be like, can I do an interview with you about your tool? But then like, again, I don't want to put that on my main channel. So where does that go? Do I create a separate brand? And then like, I get the benefit of the Trojan horse because I get to talk to that person. And then potentially they become a client, or at least I learn about their business issues, whatever. And it does become content somewhere. But yeah, does that make sense? Like there's like my personal brand, freelancer, creator, entrepreneurs versus my YouTube growth and video marketing agency. And just Trojan horse versus personal brand podcasts. And then and the different platforms like Twitter, YouTube. Again, I have a website that I'm putting and like earlier this year, I decided from now on, I'm only going to grow one thing. And my one thing was the Nomad Brad. Like I'm going to put all my effort into growing my blog, my YouTube channel, and my Twitter, basically. And then I had to detour to learn how to do Upwork because I needed to make money. But now it's all getting folded back in. And it's like, okay, well, as I learn how to be a freelancer, this is perfect content for my brand. So
okay, so I have some thoughts.
Okay, perfect.
So obviously, fellow ADHDer, and it seems like you can certainly resonate with the like shiny object syndrome. So that's kind of what we're fighting against. To me, the long-term strategy is going to depend on your goals. So suppose this was your life. Suppose you had a successful agency and you had some courses teaching people like me or other content creators or people in the WordPress space how to like leverage YouTube marketing for their teaching business. Suppose you had some courses, so you're getting course revenue. Suppose you had your podcast talking about using YouTube marketing and social media marketing and all these other things you're interested in, which by the way, that is part of your value add. Like one of my favorite things from our chat yesterday was like, you had like, I just flagged it as a gem when you're like, it became clear to you from how I was talking that I was not a social media user. And you're like, how much do you use social media?
Yeah.
Because I was saying all this stuff that like, if I knew anything about social media, I wouldn't be saying, and that stuck out to you. So like your knowledge isn't just the ability to edit YouTube videos. Your knowledge is like marketing knowledge, and YouTube is a component of that. Social is a component of that. So pretend this was your life. You know, you had this marketing podcast. You were talking about how content creators can leverage social media marketing, YouTube marketing, and it would be YouTube to start. But you have this other knowledge, so you'd probably talk about other stuff too. But how probably it would broadly be how content creators can leverage video, not YouTube, but video marketing to grow their business. So you're doing interviews about that. You're creating content about that. You're helping clients with that. You've got a team member, like you know how I've got Mari following these complex processes to do all the video editing. So you've got team members doing all that stuff. And your role when you book a client is to essentially do what we did yesterday. You do a strategic call with them, and then you do some of the implementation from there too. Like you do the keyword research, you create some of those cool hooks, and you come to them with the whole strategy. You plan it out with them. They're like, yep, this sounds dope. Your team does all the fulfillment. You interview them, you get the videos, whatever. So like your job at the business is essentially running your podcast, doing your YouTube videos, doing sales with clients, doing strategy with clients. That's your whole life. Do you feel fulfilled doing that? Or do you feel like there's a void because you're not teaching other freelancers how to do the same thing?
Definitely void.
Okay. So then I think we can't, the trouble is that running an agency is going to be your best way to not starve to death. It's going to be your short-term money. But I think it's really important when we're talking about this whole concept of the one thing for you to know that this should be a phasic thing, and that this agency might be a means to an end for you and not something you want to do long-term. And it might be smart to build it from the start with the intention of selling it, like, because this is a very sellable business. And building it with like a sellable business, you already know this probably, but at the end of the day, a sellable business is something where an investor knows that if they buy this business has a way of getting leads for a certain amount of dollars, a way of converting those to clients, a way of fulfilling the services. And then the investor's like, ooh, but I spot this opportunity. This current business isn't doing blank. I bet I could buy this business, put some stuff in place, and now it'd be even more profitable. Like, but a sellable business is not an owned job. A sellable business is something where, like, you know, you pay for your acquisition, you pay for your fulfillment, that kind of thing. And so if you target that, which, you know, if I wanted to go out and start a productized agency, like stealing Brad's idea of his YouTube agency, like I could totally do that because it is so systematic to fulfill. I would love trying to build a productized YouTube video agency way more than websites, because websites are so hard to productize and still have like a cool product. So anyway, all this aside, one thing that is an opportunity right now with your current YouTube audience, like affiliate marketers, the whole way that an affiliate marketing business makes money is that you get an email list, you educate them, and then you tell them, go buy this product. And so an affiliate marketer still needs to get leads, and an affiliate marketer can get leads from YouTube. So the Nomad Brad could potentially be like, the problem is when I saw that your thing was the Nomad Brad, I was like, so is Brad like a digital nomad? And he's like, his YouTube channel is about being a digital nomad. And it's like, it's not, you know, so it is kind of tough. It's like the whole websites for less business name that I started with. Like, if a name misrepresents what you are, it's an uphill battle, but now you've got so much clout and authority that you don't want to necessarily, you know, change it. So your change might be like, if you were to do a rebrand, it might be going from like the Nomad Brad to like Brad, the marketing guy, or like, you know, something where it still keeps the Brad brand, but you tie in the broad commonalities. Because if the Nomad Brad started just posting content that's like how to get leads on YouTube as an affiliate marketer, that content creation is strategically valuable for you from several perspectives. Number one, it's still useful to the affiliate marketing folks. Number two, you can convert some of your Nomad Brad audience into leads for your YouTube agency. Number three, you can show an existing track record to Trojan horse interviewees who you approach. You don't send them to some empty YouTube channel. You say, hey, I've got this YouTube channel with thousands of subscribers. I want to interview you. Like that makes the sell way easier. Where a lot of people struggle with these Trojan horse interviews is like doing that value exchange when you're just starting something fresh. So you don't feel like you're going to really be sending them leads because no one's listening to your podcast yet. If you're interviewing these guys on your YouTube channel, like the value is clear, that you're putting them in front of potential clients. So thinking of how to leverage that's cool. And then thinking about the long-term play when being strategic. So like basically here's where my head's at. What I want to create for you is a strategy that will immediately benefit your agency, and that your agency should be, in my opinion, ideally your sole immediate focus, or at least 90% allocation of your attention. But that this strategy that we're employing to benefit your agency will later pay dividends when you decide to reallocate some of your focus to prioritize your freelancer education. And so the way that I see like a dual benefit happening is like, for example, the whole thing that I am trying to create as content right now in our community for our courses is like how to do the blueprint as a freelancer in different ways, because not everybody can go about it this exact way. And right now the blueprint teaches just one path, and I want more. I want paths that'll work for people in different countries, people who don't speak English as well, people who aren't serving American clients. Like I want a lot of different options and a lot of different personality types for introverts who don't want to do podcasts, things like that. So if you think of the Pat Flynn approach, like all these probably that there are these like fundamentally different approaches to content marketing. One of them is the like, I'm the guru, I'm going to teach you what works approach. Another one is like the Arvid approach, where it's like, here are the lessons I learned. Another one is like the Pat Flynn approach, or at least the olden days Pat Flynn approach of like, let's learn together kind of approach. And that latter approach is what will be valid for you here with the freelancer thing. So the way I see a strategy working for both of your entities is as follows. If you are teaching online product business owners how to leverage video or social or whatever, but I think video is a nice thing video, not YouTube, video is a nice thing to pigeonhole yourself into. How to leverage video for lead gen or for whatever you want, but lead gen I would think is the main benefit. And then you're kind of just keeping track of what's working as you go. And remember, you and I are going to have our weekly calls. So I am going to be I'm going to be recording content of you for us saying what's working. So this will eventually be repurposable for you to your freelancer audience. So you just keep track of what's working. And then once things actually start to work, then you will be making some more money, and you can start to talk about like, here's what's working. And you can seek out strategic partnerships as well. Like, for example, DYF would benefit from your experiences and knowledge of what's working in this department. So instead of you having to teach everything, you can seek out a partner like me or like someone else where like you can teach things in a partnership way where I can then essentially say, hey, Brad's got this course about XYZ zoomed in thing, versus like if I were to go out and try to start a competitor thing to DYF, it's like, it's so broad and DYF already does it. So saying like, here's everything you need to know about the business side of freelancing, kind of hard. I would never want to teach, like back in the day, I used to teach technical stuff. Like here's how to write the code to build a website. I would not want to teach that again. But if your thing is like, here's how I, Brad, am using video content to generate leads for my agency, and that's your hook. That's like everything that you teach freelancers is oriented around like that as your starting point. It means that everything that you're doing in your agency right now, you can see it as like intentional practice for like, it's like kind of laying the groundwork and doing the discovery so that you can tell other freelancers what worked once you've tested it out and find out what works. That's probably the angle to take. So with all that said, it probably would be wise for your YouTube agency to indeed at some point have its own channels, like its own YouTube channel, especially if you want to create something sellable. Because if you imagine growing your YouTube agency and trying to sell it and all of the content marketing is attached to your personal channel, that's That's not appealing to a buyer. But you have an asset. I always like to audit people's what we call like unfair advantages, the existing assets. Like there's no arguing with the fact that your existing channel is an asset and we need to get the most of it. Your existing past 2 clients are an asset. This content series you're going to do with me is an asset. And we want to put those, like push those as far as they can go. So to me, what I would say is like leverage your existing channel for lead gen by simply continuing to educate affiliate marketers, but educating them about video. That's like one thing you can immediately start doing, and maybe have some soft CTAs or hard CTAs. Be like, if you want help doing this, book a free strategy call with me on my website. You're going to probably get instant leads that way. Your current social media, you can start posting like I would say your current social media, you can just talk about like YouTube marketing for course creators. And then sometimes once you can afford to deallocate, you could start talking about what you're doing to get leads as a freelancer. But I do think that should be a backseat, because anytime you invest into that right now, it's not going to serve you for a while. So I would say maybe just like keep a log about what's working, what's not, like a Notion document where you just make bullet points to turn into videos one day. And as I mentioned yesterday on our call, like what I've been wanting for so long and why I'm so excited to do this series with you is like, I love that you have only been freelancing for a short time, but you're so poised for like fast success because of the culmination of all your skills. And I've always wanted to track a freelancer from like beginner to success, and watch the whole journey. So I'm really excited to get to do this with you. And it's going to make for some really good content for DYF and for your own audience and stuff too. So I think the thing to think about though, and maybe what we should decide here. So let's imagine you're reaching out to that WordPress dude of yours, or you're reaching out to me and you're wanting to do a Trojan horse with me. Here's what I think. I think you syndicate it across both, because your existing audience is your asset. It makes the Trojan horse an easy sell. If you say like if you were trying to sell me on it, you could massage the wording where you would be like, hey, Zach, I'd love to interview you for this series I'm working on. And I don't know what the hook would be off the top of my mind. But you could say like, I've got this YouTube channel with blah, blah, blah amount of subscribers. I'm quite good with YouTube marketing, and I'd be happy to like audit your own YouTube strategy with you to like spot opportunities as a thank you for you taking the time to do this interview with me. I'd be like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, let's do it. And then we do the interview. You can release the interview on your current Nomad Brad channel, which I don't know, how many people on an affiliate marketing channel are really going to be good DYF customers? Hard to know. Fact is, maybe a lot of these people who want to start affiliate marketing businesses are like freelancing right now to pay the bills until they get their affiliate thing off the ground. So maybe they would be good customers. I don't know. But it doesn't matter, because you already delivered value to me by like offering to do that video consult and by like giving me this opportunity. It's like, it's an easy sell. It's a 30-minute interview, 60-minute interview. It's like, it's a no-brainer. And then you now have this recorded. And then eventually, like in a couple weeks or months, like maybe once you have 4 interviews recorded, 5, 6, like enough that you have a body of work in air quotes, maybe that's when you create the YouTube channel, the Twitter, all the shit for your YouTube agency. And then you put all those things you recorded on there. And then for any content that you're creating that's like thought leadership around using YouTube as a business, like it kind of goes there, but you can still promote it with your personal Twitter. The main thing you want to be thinking about is like, and we don't know it yet. Remember, we're gonna be chatting every week so we can hone this. But once you find what your lead gen strategy is for your agency, if you're trying to build a sellable business, what you want to be kind of thinking about is like, step 1, don't even think about a sellable business. It doesn't matter. Right now, you just need to not starve to death. But once you find a lead gen strategy that works, what you want to be thinking about is like, okay, what are the aspects where I'm the actual dependency right now? What are the holes I'm digging myself into that will be hard to extricate myself from long term? And then once you've been scrappy for a little while, then you start thinking about how to extricate yourself from that hole, but that it's fine to be scrappy at first. Like, for example, just today, my first deposit into the DYF Mercury account cleared. And so now DYF finally has its own freaking debit card number. And so now
Nice.
I can finally put transactions on a company card and not pay them out of my card and have some coming out of Laura and Brennan's account. And I'm going to have to reconcile all these finances. Like, it's been such a nightmare. And I'm not looking forward to the reconciliation, but it feels like a load off to finally have this. But if I had let this prevent me from like starting DYF, if I was like, oh, I can't actually start DYF until we have a proper business bank account, like it would stop me from doing any of the things that necessitate a bank account. Like, you can't have what's the point of having a bank account if you don't have a business that's making money to put into a bank account, you know? So similarly, like, I want to first find what works, find how you can get leads that's not relying on Upwork. But even before that, I want you to keep getting leads from Upwork and start tapping into these existing opportunities, get clients from there, start using your existing channel to work as lead gen. And then if it is working as lead gen, the challenging thing you're going to have to ask yourself is, does the Nomad Brad become the YouTube agency, or does the Nomad Brad become the freelancer education? Because it could be viable for both. And if you decided that you want to start talking about freelancer stuff on the Nomad Brad, it'll be irrelevant to a lot of that audience, but it won't be to some. If you want to start talking about video marketing there, it will be probably relevant to more of it. But like, it does seem like leveraging it for something would be good. And the Nomad Brad as it exists now is not part of your strategic long-term plans. Like, teaching affiliate marketing is not something you want to do long-term. So it seems to me wise to have this evolve into something versus this just disappear and create two new things.
Yeah. Well,
I think that's a question for later, honestly.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about focusing on the one thing. This is my best path. And isolating it to lead gen. That's really the problem that I need to focus on right now, lead gen.
Yeah.
And yes, I have Upwork. I can keep working the strategy that has been working, and eventually I will get some more clients and stuff, and all that's good. Yeah. So the future, I want to keep the Nomad Brad. I want that to be my brand, like, for the rest of my life. I will let the brand evolve. I want to eventually be like Tom Bilyeu and interview people about a lot of different topics. So that's my ultimate goal, is to do that. I started on the last call, I bought the domain I think it's Video Marketing Nomads, and I started the YouTube channel Video Marketing Nomads. So that can be my secondary, like, that can be my agency home. And you're right, I can leverage my existing asset to be appealing to potential podcast guests. And yeah, so I see how this all fits. Like, I see, okay, the Nomad Brad can, for the next phase, become freelancer advice, interviews on the podcast. I guess the big, like, just, I don't know why I'm just like stuck on this thing, is do all the podcasts that I can imagine doing that are going to serve my video marketing agency. Do they literally live on that YouTube channel? Like, are they episode 1, 2, 3, 5, 7 of the Nomad Brad podcast? And I build it like for years, like Entrepreneurs on Fire? Or do I start a separate podcast called Video Marketing Nomads or whatever, that is just video marketing, and I share it on the channel? That's like literally where I'm stuck. But all the rest of this, I think, is perfect. I like the sellable asset angle. That's exciting to me. Getting leads is the focus. Thought leadership on video marketing, that's a great reframe of what I need to be doing for the next probably year at least. Is like, I need to keep that video marketing at the core of everything. And it is what I'm developing right now and helping people with. So so any additional thoughts there?
Here are my thoughts. I was just checking to make sure you can do it, and it seems like you can. So I'm just here on my Zach Swinehart YouTube. So it seems like with YouTube, you can just straight up change your name. It seems like you can change it twice in 14 days. So if you want to keep the Nomad Brad, fine. Right now you are the Nomad Brad. I think you should do this. Video marketing strategies for whatever the fuck. The beef that I've got with your like this whole Nomad brand thing is that it kind of puts the focus on you. And the focus needs to be on what you are empowering others to do. And like, I can relate to this affinity for maintaining a brand. Like I have had this kind of brand that you saw just then on my YouTube. I've had this brand for years of this like golden retriever photo where it's like this bright background. I'm like, but like, I'm old now. I'm not a golden retriever anymore. I'm sometimes disillusioned with like life and stuff. I'm not a golden retriever. I'm not a 25-year-old anymore. And I've had some like brand identity deviation. And the point is like, maybe you resonate with Nomad behind everything you do, but like, frankly, in all the conversations behind you, that I've had with you, I've kind of gotten to know you a little bit more and gotten to know how your heart works maybe a little bit. And I would not come off this call with Brad and be like, oh, it was great to my girlfriend and be like, oh, Nadia, it was great to chat with Brad. He's a nomad. Whenever like the essence of him is nomad. I don't know. I don't know if you do resonate with that. If you do, then fine. But the angle that I'm getting at here is like, if you call your agency Video Marketing Nomads and you're like, hey, Zach, this is Brad from Video Marketing Nomads. I'm like, what? Like, are you a nomad who's a video marketer? Are you only doing video marketing for nomads? Why exactly is the word nomad significant? Like, it's just frankly confusing versus like, video market. Like, let's just pretend it was something dumb and generic. Like, we are #1 AA video marketing, like just something dumb and generic like that. At least I know like, okay, they help with video marketing, but the word nomads, I'm just like, what even is this? And so similarly, given that you have a current audience under the Nomad Brad, it wouldn't make sense to just change that to something entirely different. But I would be thinking about how you might like gradually morph the brand into something that is more, it's less about you. Like, it doesn't matter to me that you are a digital nomad because it doesn't affect the service that you deliver. It doesn't affect like, if you're teaching people about lifestyle freedom and stuff, Nomad kind of ties into that. But frankly, it's still like, it's almost like obsession over the what and not the why. Like, digital nomad is one route to getting lifestyle freedom, but that's not what you ultimately, like, I don't get the sense you ultimately care about digital nomading. What you care about is the lifestyle freedom that would allow for digital nomading, would allow for slow matting, would allow for being an expat, would allow for just living in a freaking suburb in the United States if you want. So these are broad thoughts. You don't have to take action on any of them. But the thing that does matter for this is that if you want to keep Nomad Brad for the rest of your life, interview experts on all different topics, cool. But I do think that your video agency should not have the word nomad in it unless you can tell me a really compelling reason why it should. And that agency would have its own, like, if you're going to use YouTube marketing to drive leads to your video agency as a primary strategy, I do think that it would be smart for that agency to eventually have its own YouTube channel. But if your initial leads that you would drive with video would be coming from your Nomad Brad channel, and the Nomad Brad's purpose, let me write this down because are you taking notes?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you can write this down. So if the Nomad Brad's purpose is like it's your education business, whether you're educating, it's your soul-driven education business. That's what the purpose of Nomad Brad is, whatever it ends up being called. And then your video agency is your like video content marketing business. Your Nomad Brad will talk about the successes you're having as a freelancer and what you did to help other freelancers. Your Nomad Brad, it sounds like, might continue to teach affiliate marketers how to be successful. And so the existing opportunity is like how to turn some of those affiliate marketers into your first clients for your agency. So the Nomad Brad, in order to do that, needs to release content that would appeal to affiliate marketers who would be good customers, who would be good clients for you. So that's like one role, and that's something you could do immediately. And then the long-term play is building up your own traffic flow on your own fresh YouTube channel for your agency and documenting your process. If you are able to use organic for yourself to generate clients for your agency, that, like, what better case study than that? You know what? And that gives you the foundation of teaching courses too. Like, if you started a totally fresh YouTube channel and within 3 months, 6 months, whatever, were getting however many agency clients directly from your YouTube channel, now you have the basis to create a course that says how I scaled a fresh YouTube channel to drive a 6-figure a year revenue to my agency within 6 months on YouTube marketing alone. Like, that's your hook. The thing you did is your hook. And if you only got to that successful end result by leveraging an existing asset that not everybody else is going to have, then the hook of the course is undermined. It's like how I scaled a $1 million business thanks to this $100,000 loan from my father. Like, not everyone's going to get a $100,000 loan from their father. But if it's like how I did it from my bootstraps and didn't have too many unfair advantages, like, that's reproducible. So the way I see it is that step one, like the big priority one, is growing the agency. And so ask how your existing assets help with that. So basically, use your existing YouTube to drive leads to the agency, post about content marketing on there, post about video content marketing on there, post about video content marketing on your Twitter. Anywhere that people follow you who might be clients is a good place for you to talk about these things. And then also building a new asset once you decide on a good name. ChatGPT is really good for thinking of names. And then I'm thinking what you do is, for these initial Trojan horse interviews, you air them on your current Nomad Brad YouTube channel within a certain playlist that's called like video marketing for creators or whatever. Maybe that's the name of your agency. Video marketing for creators. Kind of dumb and generic, but whatever. It's maybe a better tagline. But yeah, you create a playlist that's like video marketing for creators, and you say, hey, this is Brad from agency name. And, or maybe you just say, this is Brad, if you don't want to say agency name. And this is an interview in our series called Video Marketing for Creators, where we talk about blah, 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 blah. I don't know what the scope is for your Trojan horse interviews. I don't know if you're going to even talk about video marketing. I don't know what you're going to talk about. But like, if it were me, I'd be thinking about the tie-in where I could post the exact same interview in my Nomad Brad channel that I would eventually post maybe after a few weeks or whatever in my agency channel, but that we don't have the prerequisite be like, create all that agency scaffolding, and that we instead say, how can you like right now start leveraging what you have in a super duper scrappy way while also not digging yourself too much into a hole. That's the sort of thing to think about.
Yeah.
Do you have any outstanding questions to take action on this?
No, I think you helped me work through it.
Okay. So I think in terms of specific homework assignments or whatever, maybe one that would be really move the needle-y would be like, well, it sounds like you're planning your initial Trojan horse interviews anyway. Maybe a good move the needle-y one would be like thinking just of some ideas for videos you might release to your Nomad Brad channel that, like, remember yesterday we were looking for the commonalities of a good client, like someone who has a product-based business, someone who has certain belief systems and like has a certain ethical standard, whatever. Maybe think of what videos you could create within the Nomad Brad that would appeal to affiliate marketers who still like kind of pass your bar of like the right oscillation frequency of person. And think of like what a CTA that would be disrespectful of your time and thus very high converting could be, which is like, you watch this video, got some ideas. I'd love to just jump on the phone with you for 30 minutes and talk about your business for free and tell you what opportunities I spot for how you can like leverage video to drive more leads or whatever a compelling CTA would be. And like do it in super frictionless way. Let people book time on your Calendly. Do it until you resent people for how many free calls you're doing. And then we add more friction. But basically you were here for the Maya part, right? So I want to create for you what Maya has. I want to create an abundance of shitty leads first, because once you have an abundance of shitty leads, you can up the quality until you have an abundance of good leads who are pre-qualified. But if you try to get an abundance of good pre-qualified leads first, it can be difficult because you don't know what friction points to add yet. You don't know what the good and bad things are. So that's what I want to think about. And I want you to think about, how can I use my skills? How can I use the things I'm going to do for clients? And how can I use my competitive advantages to get as many shitty leads coming in the door ASAP and do it this week? And you have to ask yourself, is the fastest way to get shitty leads through the door treadmill work on Upwork, posting on Twitter, creating videos for the Nomad Brad YouTube? These are your three options. You have to decide which one. If you wanted to spend 10 hours, suppose, on lead gen, which 10 hours will get you the most leads within the coming 2 weeks? And then do that, ideally for 10 hours this week if you have time. Do you have time for 10 hours? What do you think is a reasonable commitment?
I don't think I have 10 hours this week. No, I'm doing I'm home, so I'm visiting family and friends and stuff a lot. Honestly, I'm having trouble right now, even servicing my existing clients.
Okay.
I think probably the best way would be to do what I'm doing on Upwork again and get another batch of Loom videos sent out that could potentially convert over the next couple of weeks. That would probably be the first best place to put my energy for lead gen, I would think.
On our next call, I want to audit where you're spending your time and stuff. But we don't have time for today, but we can do that next. So that sounds good then. If you think Upwork's the way to go, then that's cool. What thoughts or questions before we go?
Yeah, I just have to reconfigure things. This one stung a little, I'll be honest.
Which part stings? The Nomad part?
Yeah.
You can definitely do the Nomad. I mean, this is just my personal opinion. It may be that it's just me because I have my own experience as a Nomad. Maybe it's fine for others. If you feel that the Nomad thing is important to you, don't change it.
Yeah. No, but it's good. It's just I haven't really been in a coaching program for a long time. I haven't really taken like straight up advice, from a coach. It feels good, but
I mean, honestly, if you think I'm overstepping, like I need you to tell me that. I don't want to push you in a way you don't want to be pushed. So like if you think some of this is an overstep or you think it doesn't resonate, like just tell me. I'm just some dude giving you an opinion,
Yeah, I know. No, I think I don't know. Yeah, that was just part of my thing is like, well, Nomad will be in everything because that's just me and I like it. So my video marketing agency will be Video Marketing Nomads just because that's me. And I don't and I don't want to make this too long. First off, I just want to listen to your advice because you know what you're talking about and I don't in this domain. So I'm going to do that. But I think I know, like, because of SEO, that like it ultimately kind of doesn't matter what your brand is, but obviously it does matter. It can matter. Yeah. So like the Nomad Brad, if you ask Google what the Nomad Brad is, it's Bing ads right now, which has nothing to do with nomads. But Google has made an association that when people Google my name, they also Google Bing ads, or they did in 2017, 18. Anyways, I just have to think through all this stuff. I don't think you're overstepping your bounds at all. I think you're giving good advice, and it's up to me to take that as advisement and then decide, what my version of that will be.
And I want to dig into this though. Like, so I have a client, for example, called Experience Your Wealth. He's a financial advisor. You go to his website and the first thing you see on the page, the headline says like, you should use your money to buy a once in a lifetime experience. It's like, that's basically his whole brand. So you hear Experience Your Wealth and you're like, what does that even mean? I mean, in this case, it's pretty self-evident, but you hear it, you might not know what it means. And you go to the website and all of the brand ties in with this. I don't get the sense that your video agency is that. Like if I'm wrong, tell me, like if I go to, what did you say it was? Video Nomads, something? Video Marketing Nomads. So let's say I go to videomarketingnomads.com and the first thing on the homepage is like, we help digital nomads with video marketing, or we help people who believe in lifestyle freedom with video marketing. We help people use video marketing to achieve lifestyle freedom, or video marketing to become digital nomads, then fine, cool. It's like your whole thing. But the sense that I'm getting is that that's not the case, and that it's like, I go to videomarketingnomads.com and it doesn't say anything about being a nomad. It doesn't go into the website anywhere. It's just like, hey, we make videos and help you grow your business. Like, so I'm just kind of curious why it stings. Like, if let's just dig into that. Like, what does the sting come from?
Certainly nothing strategic. I think strategically, that's absolutely right. I guess part of something that happened yesterday was I just felt so good about knowing what I'm going to do, because I often have not. And I'm like, I don't know exactly the details of how these Trojan horses are going to work, but I know that I'm going to be filling up my schedule with podcast interviews for the next long time. And that actually excites me. And that's pretty rare when the strategy that I should be doing also lines up with something that I actually, as a human being, want to do. So I got really excited yesterday because I was like, this is awesome. Like, this is going to check a box for me as a person, which is I get to learn about stuff. And that's like, the thing that fuels me. And so, yeah, I don't mind changing the name of the video marketing nomads. That doesn't sting, actually. I don't want to change the Nomad Brad, I guess, but that's okay. But
So
yeah,
then
I don't
what,
care about the video marketing agency. It can be called whatever.
so
I
then what
don't
is
need
the
it.
sting? Is the sting that you feel like I'm saying you shouldn't do the Trojan horse interviews, or what do you feel like the sting is exactly? I want to get down to what it actually is.
Yeah. Um,
Is the sting maybe me encouraging you to deallocate time from the freelance education space in favor of the agency?
no, I think that I'm okay with that taking a long time. I need to know, or I want to know where I'm going with it. And I don't think it doesn't matter whether you tell me I should or shouldn't. I'm probably going to do it anyways, because that's just like, geez. Um, I just, that's just how I learn. I like share as I go, and I get interested in lots of things with ADHD. But what I wanted to pay attention to is the things that strategically were like, don't do that. Like having nomads in the name of the agency. That's good strategy advice.
So then what is the sting?
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's just somebody criticizing me. Period. It's just a self-esteem thing.
Okay.
It's always been
Well,
hard
then,
for me. So
I mean, to give the criticism like a criticism sandwich, I think that this could use some strategic work, sure. But I think broadly your strategy is great. I think you're really sharp. I think you're setting yourself up for a lot of success. And frankly, I think you'd even be successful if you had the word nomads in your agency name. So I think you're doing all the right things. And maybe I should get better at not giving you unsolicited critical feedback unless you specifically ask for it, because you didn't actually ask me what I thought of the name. But I did feel a certain obligation as the coach to like share that, because it seems like a potentially avoidable, strategically challenging decision. But if you'd prefer in the future me to not share unsolicited critical feedback, tell me now and I can just not do that.
I don't know. I've been a coach before. I understand. Sometimes you can see things that I can't see. You're like, oh yeah, I've seen 100 of these. I've seen 100 people who come in with like this thing, and like what I might think as a student is like, no, I'm going to do it my own way. But that's like the death of coaching. Like, I know that from being a coach is like, well, as soon as you stray from the path that I'm laying out, I can no longer guarantee what's going to happen, like, so I'm wrestling with that as well. It's like, and I'm not wrestling with it much. It's just, I don't know. I used to see sometimes with students just being like, I was like a dating coach. So I'd be like critiquing their body language or their voice, it's like, sometimes it was just like, oh, um, and but that's not your job. That's my job as a human being who, you know, I'm
And
excited
sometimes
about this.
sometimes I think it's good to push back or audit. Like I've gotten some bad advice from coaches that came from the fact that they are not immersed in my life. And in this case, you and I are doing one-on-ones and chatting quite a lot. But the way I was originally pitching this community of like office hours via text, people asking Q&A, like things where a coach, you are spending 40 hours a week or whatever on your business, and I'm spending like an hour with you getting a recap. There are things I'm missing. I don't know all your context. I don't know all your backstory. I don't have a very good memory. So like, if there's something I say, like for me, this Nomad thing in the name, in terms of my strong, like how strongly I feel that you shouldn't do it, it's non-critical. Like this is just me saying, hey, here's a thought. It's not the kind of thing that I'm like, well, if Brad doesn't do this, I can't help him. I can't help him along his path. But there might be other things that I would feel that way about. Like, let's say, for example, you said, Zach, I've decided I don't want to do the agency as my priority, and I want to instead do the freelance education thing. Like that's a whole different business, a whole different scope. And that's the kind of thing where I'd be like, all right, well, that's cool. I don't want to stop you from doing that, but that's like outside the context of what we're doing here. But the Nomad thing, like to me, it's low priority. So the thing is, like, coaches aren't gurus, and I'm especially not a guru. And so if there's something that I say that you don't think sounds right or doesn't feel right, like I want to explore that with you, because I don't want to be dishing out prescriptive advice. I want to be sharing ideas. And if the ideas don't resonate, I want to explore why they don't resonate and see if maybe my idea just wasn't a good one. So I hope you can feel comfortable doing that with me.
Yeah. I think you nailed it right there. Actually, I'm emotionally feeling like relief as you said that. It was the degree of, it's like, well, because partially, okay, this is dumb, but like I know that you can only verify like 2 YouTube channels per year, and I verified video marketing nomads. So I'm like, oh fuck. Am I gonna have to start another thing, or like?
But like, for example, I didn't know that. So to me, the change would mean nothing. I had no idea of the consequences, whereas you did, but I didn't. And so I gave you advice without it being rooted in that very, very important context.
Yeah. And I agree with you, what you just said. And this is where I'm feeling relief is like, I know from business over my career that like people get stuck on these things, like, oh, I have to file for an LLC. Well, no, you don't. Like, you just got to get started. Like, I just need to have some podcast interviews going, and we can work on the name later. But this is perfect because you gave me a degree of weight. And I think you use a perfect example. If I were like, all right, I'm excited, Zach, I'm going to start being a freelance guy now, you'd be like, whoa, like I actually like literally can't even help you anymore. Like that's not even what this whole like program is about. That's, you need to go follow somebody else, right? And that's perfect. That would be like a 9 out of 10 on the like degree scale. But this name thing, I didn't know if it was a 9. Like, oh man, I've seen so many people start with stupid names, and it ruins their chances of getting their first 10 clients. And that's where Brad is right now. He needs to get those first 10 or that first one or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think you adding that degree and being like, okay, this is a 1 out of 10 or a 2 out of 10, but the freelancer thing, that's a 9 out of 10. And so I'm like, yeah. So that just alleviated my concerns or whatever.
So I'm making a note for myself that I'll try to remember, but I won't be able to because I don't have a way to make an SOP for it. To just try to proactively tell people the intensity of my advice, my rating out of 10. But I probably won't remember it. So what I would encourage you to do, since this seems like something that you might be like predisposed to sensitivity to, is like if I tell you something and it stings, or I tell you something and you're like not so sure about it, like ask what my intensity out of 10 is.
That's perfect.
And if I just say it's like a 2, then you can be like, all right, well, fuck it, I'm going to keep my current name then because I don't want to get re-verified on YouTube. Yeah. Cool.
And I didn't know you could change your YouTube title so easily. So that's another option I'll explore. But
yeah, it seems like you could just use the same channel you already made and just change the name.
Yeah. Just take out Nomad or something. Anyways, I'll think about that. Yeah. Okay, great. You really did help me think through, though. Like the main thing I came to this call with was I need to think through this stuff. I'm having trouble prioritizing and thinking like where does all this stuff go? And I think I understand it now. So
Cool. Awesome. Well, I'm glad I
you.
could help, and we'll connect soon.
Yes.
Awesome. See ya.
See ya.
So if you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, leave good reviews, things like that. And as a reminder, if you join the DYF Accelerator, your membership includes access to one-on-one office hours, live coaching with me. You can book a 20-minute live coaching session with me each week. You also get recordings to all the past office hours, masterminds, and other community events. So if you're thinking of joining, now's the time to join. We'll be capping the community at 200 members so that everyone can get like one-on-one attention. So if you want to learn more, you can do that at dyf.link/DYFA. And if you want to learn more about Brad's business, where can they check you out, Brad?
The Nomad Brad.
The Nomad Brad on where?
TheNomadBrad.com and YouTube and Twitter.
And you're the Nomad Brad everywhere.
Yes, there are other Nomad Brads.
But if I search the Nomad Brad on Twitter, it'll be you, or at least if it looks like you.
Yes, at the Nomad Brad is me.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for being here, everyone. Thanks for being here, Brad, and see you in the next episode.